So hello there. I'm Giovanni. I'm here, type 1 diabetic, and exactly 7 days ago I had just finished running the Rome marathon. So I thought I would just give you an overview of how it went, the course, the day overall, the marathon experience, and my blood glucose management and the diabetes management in general. So let's start with the course. Well, the course was amazing. I mean, Rome is epic in itself, and running Rome is absolutely fantastic. It gives you really gives you a completely different perspective on the city, on its architecture. It's a different experience. I've been in Rome several times before, but I never got to experience it, with in such depth and in such a special way. I was surrounded by 40,000 other runners. The streets were reserved for us, and that really changed my the way I got to experience the city. So as I said, the course was amazing. It was literally 42 kilometers with my jaw dropped at basically every corner. There was something to see, somebody cheering on you, people smiling, people drumming, people like music bands. Everything was perfect from kilometer 1 all the way to kilometer 42. There were a few traits, like around kilometer 20 probably and kilometer 30, which were a little bit less busy, but like 10% of the course was like that. The remaining 90% was extremely entertaining, and I would run the marathon 10,000 more times. The course was also very well organized from the very beginning. I had no problem going to the toilet before the race start, despite the incredible amount of people that were there with me. And also like all the hydration stations where you get water, electrolytes, and foods if you want. They were also very well furnished, very well served by the volunteers. Props to the volunteers. And so yeah, I never had to wait like for more than 5 seconds at any station to get my sip of water or electrolytes. Then yeah, I mean, as I was saying, everything was epic about it. There is no memory of me being like without like a huge smile on my face. I was smiling all the time, always thumbs up to all the people cheering and supporting from the sidelines. And the only point of concern that people raised to me before the race was the hills, because there are some upside downs, nothing crazy, but from kilometer 30 to kilometer until the end, basically it intensifies a bit. So it's better to keep that in mind if you are planning, as I did, to pick up the pace a little bit in the last 30 to 40, in the last 10 I was saying, the last 10 kilometers. But it was nothing too crazy. So nothing that is excessively taxing your legs. At least that was not my sensation, my perception. And also the cobblestones. People, yeah, those are infamous because they make your calves explode. So people say. I didn't have that impression. It really boils down to running technique and to be able to pace yourself, I believe, and also staying hydrated, of course. My legs ran well also on those more irregular terrains, And after the race, I was okay. Even the days after, I could walk up and down the stairs with no problems. Walk, run. I ran 4 times this week, week after the marathon. So yeah, and my legs were okay. But yeah, so this was the race experience. Absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere was electric and something special. Something special. Then, in terms of the diabetic, not only the runner, that is in me, how did it go? Well, it did go good. It was well. Everything was well because I could finish the race without any problem, any drop in energy, any drop in blood glucose. I didn't have troubles from a running perspective. And also in terms of my blood glucose management strategy, I did everything as I had planned to do. So I carb loaded the days prior to the race, mainly on fruit and leafy greens. Up to 48 hours before the race. So I was carb loading throughout the entire week. It is not a good idea to stuff yourself with carbs only the day before. So since Monday all the way until the Saturday before, I was eating my 700 grams of carbohydrates, around 10 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight. So I'm around 70, so that made sense for me. And then I cut the fibers the day before. So on Saturday, I only ate rice and potatoes, basically. And my stomach was okay on the day of the race, so no problem. The morning of the race, I did eat some cornflakes and some rice cakes 2 to 3 hours before the race. I woke up with a blood sugar level of 150. And by the time I was towing the starting line, I was at 190. So that snack elevated my blood glucose were right, to the point where I wanted it to be. I took half of the amount of insulin I would normally take for handling that portion. So to not having too much insulin on board. But I did a mistake because, when I arrived at the starting area, I was everyone was running around cheering, and you could feel the buzz. So I don't know, I was probably very excited, and for some reason I ate 2 to 3 extra rice cakes. It's not a huge amount, but probably enough to kickstart like a steep rise that started exactly at 8:45, where my wave started the race. Brought my blood sugar to 350, and it basically stayed there during the entire race. It was crazy. I was looking at my blood glucose data afterwards, and for 42 kilometers I was at 350, even though I took a few gels less than I had planned. I had planned like 5 or 6. I only take 3 or 4. I don't remember now exactly. So I was even eating less than expected, but for some reason my blood sugar was up there. Which is okay by me. I mean, I am 90% in range during my normal life. My 90 days average is 91%. So I'm okay for a couple of hours, something happens. As long as I'm not going in a hypoglycemia during the marathon, I'm okay. But I came up with a few explanations for why this occurred. So the first one is, of course, the big mistake I did, the mistake I did with, eating those extra rice cakes right before the start. There was no particular rational reason to do so, but, happens. I was emotional, or, I was not really thinking. Then the second one, and that is a factor, I know, is the unexpected heat on the day. So I knew it was going to be sunny. I knew it was going to be warmer at least. It was the right in the middle of March, but I was not expecting it to be that warm. I even got like some sunburn on my shoulders and on my head because I was not prepared for that, and it was critical for me during the marathon to get the sponges. There were many stations where you could get sponges full of soaked in water, and those really saved me because they brought the perceived effort and the perceived fatigue a little bit down under control. Otherwise the heat would have been a big problem for me. It wasn't from the runner perspective. For the diabetic, probably was it played a role in elevating my blood glucose. I am really sensitive to heat and cold fluctuations. I always see that reflected in my blood sugars, at least in those couple of days where my body is adjusting. And so the heat, all the emotions, the adrenaline, the happiness, the joy of being there. I had never experienced an event like that, be surrounded by 40,000 people with all the music and all the colors and emotions, as we know, are a factor when it comes to blood glucose fluctuations. So I guess I was just carried by the joy of the crowd, which is okay. Again, I enjoyed my day, so I would do that all the same. And the other factor, the last one, I think this is an interesting one, is seasonality. So I always observe in my 15 years with type 1 diabetes that when I'm transitioning from season to season, like from fall to winter, from spring to summer, from winter to spring, whatever, there are always a couple of days, when you really feel that the temperatures are adjusting to the new season and you see that the weather is changing. There are always those 4-5 days, maybe even a week, where the body is going through some hormonal changes that in turn alter the ratios, the carb to insulin ratio, how your body is able to absorb and utilize insulin. And I always say that, like, every year, every season, I have those 4 or 5 days where until yesterday I've been using 10 units of insulin to eat 4 apples. I'm just throwing random numbers. Today I'm using 10 units of insulin, eat 4 apples as I did yesterday, and all of a sudden my blood glucose is 300. No reason. And then after a couple of days it goes back to normal. So being the Rome Marathon having been on the 17th of March, which is exactly the week before the official start of the spring season, I presume that this seasonality changes did also play a role in the behavior of my blood sugar, which is also to me evidenced by the fact that for a couple of days after, my blood glucose were a little bit fluctuating up and down for no particular reason. I had big spikes and the big drops without injecting necessarily extra insulin. But then a week has passed and now everything is back to normal again. So I guess that there was something going on that is less intuitive and less mathematical than calculating your carb to insulin ratio and simply doing the math to nail your doses, your injection doses. So this is basically my account. It was still a success because I completed another marathon, no problems. I loved the day, I loved Rome, I enjoyed the race, I enjoyed the people. So my energies after the marathon were like over the roof. My timing range for the week of the marathon was still 87%, which is good. It means that the fact that my body is in range and is able to, I'm doing things well for 90% of the time. I can afford to, be out of range for some time. If that has to happen, let it be. So 87% is still a success. Thumbs up. And most of all, I absolutely loved how the marathon was organized, and all the people I met, all the laughs and smiles that we shared with other runners. That was incredible. So I recommend everyone runs the Rome Marathon, even if you haven't never run before. Start running and put it as a goal on your wish list. It's an amazing experience. And if you have type 1 diabetes, I highly recommend that you do that too, because diabetes should not stop you from doing cool stuff. Diabetes can be the fuel that helps you grow, that helps you achieve something great. So go for a marathon, diabetic or not. Do something cool. Doesn't have to be sports, but do stuff. Get out there, believe in yourself, and have a wonderful day until the next video. See you soon. Bye.